Think of the defense attaché system that we have, a jewel in the crown that gives us insights into 143 countries. No other agency gets that kind of insight.
We provide global presence for the Department of Defense. Not only are we present in those places, but we ensure DIA is present in all those places.
The DATTs provides a physical presence for the U.S. military in each of these countries. Somebody who can observe and report. In my view, that's the most important thing we do. That's what this is all about.
It informs policymakers and warfighters alike.
Defense attaché, it's the SDO-DATT, it's the DAO that usually has the first report out. And that's either by a sit rep, a phone call, or just being there at that time when it happens.
The C-12 provides access. That access goes beyond just geographic access. Our networks that have been developed because of the C-12 extend all over the world. Once the invasion was imminent, and then after that happened, our plane was able to provide transportation support, moving senior leaders around Europe, specifically ministers of defense in Romania and in Ukraine, providing access to Department of State and DoD along the border to see what was going on, this developing humanitarian crisis, and what type of needs that both Romania and Ukraine were going to have as that crisis developed.
And we provide the vital military advice and defense-related advice to that chief of mission and to the country team.
We provide the ambassador answers. Every ambassador has a way forward that they want to take our relationship with that host nation.
No ambassador says, I don't want an attaché. Every ambassador sees the value of a military diplomat.
We represent the Secretary of Defense, we represent the combatant commander, the DIA director, DSCA director, and the services from which our attachés come from, to that host nation and to the diplomatic community serving alongside us from other nations.
People were my business. It was my job to go out there and build friendships and relationships so that when things like a Russian invasion happen, those contacts are already built and in place, and so I can reach out and ask the tough questions that our senior leaders are looking for.
As our civilian leadership turns over, that mill-to-mill relationship is almost always there, and often we get more access because they want to maintain a mill-to-mill relationship with the U.S.
That representational role is the embodiment of the U.S. commitment to that nation and in relationship with that nation. We maintain a very close partnership with the Defense Security Cooperation Agency and combatant commands in guiding and informing security cooperation activities, the operational side of what the attachés do in U.S. policy in a particular country.
During my time in the DATTs, early to mid-2000s, I was assigned to Liberia, and at that time there was a civil war still going on there. I think what I accomplished there was the tipping point of getting Charles Taylor, who happened to be the president at the time, getting him out of the country, getting him to the courts, and actually bringing peace to that region.
The U.S. Embassy evacuated, and we had to send everybody home except me. That was specifically the order of the ambassador, and his prerogative was to try to get as many people out of the country as he could. I was fortunate that he saw value in asking me to stay. Otherwise, there would have been no DAO after the actual embassy evacuation. And really, the fact that I was able to stay on HKIA gave the DATTs a foothold to evacuate the people that we had an interest in, our partners, who for many years who've worked closely with us. Many of them would have been overlooked in the evacuation if somebody hadn't been there to advocate for them.
Strategic competition is the new reality. It is a global enterprise. It is a global challenge in our own hemisphere, the Middle East, every part of the world. We have to be there to be able to participate in it. We have to be there to show up. We do that through the DAOs.
Strategic competition is primarily playing out in the developing world, in places like Africa, in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And that's where our planes especially really help in this, because they provide access for the ambassador, his embassy staff, and our DoD team, both the security cooperation team and the DIA team, to have access to these difficult to reach locations so that we can inform our senior leaders.
I think the DATTs is a huge force multiplier for strategic competition.
The strength of the DAS is in its people and in its network.
That attaché on the ground is ground truth and can perceive where opportunities lie with the host country, where the host country may be moving or maybe being swayed by an adversary in great power competition. And I think that the DAS really brings the ability that the other INTs frankly don't bring.
We are on the forefront. We get to see it initially and report it into leadership.
As Secretary Mattis used to say, the DAS are his global scouts, and we take that mission very seriously.